Oh, dude, why am I even trying to sit on the chair like this? What's going on, guys? It's Reese Bowers from Built Bomb, and today we're going to be working on my 2014 Ducati 1199. So since it's been a while, I'll give you guys a little walk around on this bike if you forgot what it looks like. The damage isn't too bad. This tank is completely destroyed, and I do have the new tank. It already came in. We are going to put this tank on the bike and hopefully maybe get it started. I also pulled a couple parts off already. We got ourselves the rear tail light. It's destroyed. I'm gonna end up doing the smoked out one. The seat, it does have a little bit of a rip in it, but we are going to be able to reuse this. Then this little template here that goes over the whole front part, and that's just part of the tail. And also, we're going to have to remove this whole underglow that's on this because, why get a Ducati and put underglow on it? That's not for this bike. If anything, that'd be for like a Jigster bra, but not on a Ducati, man. Not a bike this nice. I think the thing I'm going to start going into, I want to get this tank pulled, but I really don't know if I can get that done without pulling off these belly fairings. So what I'm going to do here is just start pulling these belly fairings off of the bike. Ooh, I like this about these bikes. See how these are actual clips with nuts on the end of them? I don't know, dude, does this tank just come up from right here? Because I undid the bolts that hold the tank on here in the front, and then I undid that back there. I don't know what else is holding this tank on. I figured the tank's gonna come off before the subframe comes off. Before I put music in the background of this time lapse, I'm gonna stop the video right about here. Now check out that mullet. And now go look down there at that like button. You're telling me you're not liking the video on a guy that's building a badass bike and rocking a mullet? Dude, what? Check this out. So you know how this bike isn't like a mainframe bike? It has the engine and then the pieces like hook onto the engine. I just pulled the tank off, and then you look at this right here. Oh, by the way, this disconnect for the fuel, everyone should have this on their bikes. That was the easiest fuel line to pull off ever. But you pull the tank off, and then right here, this is where your air box would be, and you can see your throttle body is open right there. And then everything from the air ram comes right in this section. It's just open, so like when you pull the tank up, you can work on stuff in this section. And there's like, the tank is like the top of the air box. That's pretty cool. I really like messing around with stuff that I haven't seen before. That's just so cool. And just the way this bike's kind of engineered is just really neat compared to like other bikes, because all the Japanese bikes are pretty fairly similar between each other. Then I'm touching this thing, and it's just like it's a completely different bike. What I'm going to start doing now that I got this tank off, going at this subframe and try to get this subframe off. Let's see what I need to do to get that completely off. I think it's just a couple of like T30 bits, it looks like, that I need to do to pull this off. And then we're good to go. The subframe really isn't as damaged as I thought it was. It just seems to be this little section right up here that's broken off. There we go, guys. I got the subframe off the bike, and I was looking at this. See this heat shield right here? It was like barely held on. There's only one bolt holding it on down there. It's really sun faded, so the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull this off. But I do have the subframe back here, and there was something pretty cool in it. So I stripped everything off of it. Still waiting on the new one to come in, and I won't trash this until the new one comes in. Inside this, it sits up like that, and this is a black box, so when you crash, it ends up telling you kind of what happened, kind of like an airplane. You know how they have like black boxes in them? I'm assuming that's what this mainly is. And I don't know, just thought that's pretty cool that this bike has that in it, because I know none of those bikes over there have a black box. Let's get into pulling off this heat shield right here. So there we go, I got the heat shield off, and it's sitting over here. The thing is mad sun faded, so what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get that powder coated black along with the case cover right here, because I just really am not a fan of this color. I got the subframe in. Right here's the old subframe. You see, this is where it's broken. Really not too bad. And this is the brand new one. And what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna put the subframe on and then start pulling off the other stuff. Look at that subframe right there. Got this bad boy on there, and what I gotta do first before I can put that black box in is place this in here at the top, which gives me all the wiring for the taillight and stuff, and then I'll slide the black box in there. And then also, the difference between like a crappy rebuild where you can tell the bike was wrecked and then like an actual like mint one is little things like this O2 sensor has a little tab back in there that it sits on, and I'm just gonna remove that, make sure this wire is exactly where it needs to be OEM. And then right here you can see this little tab from the harness sits right there, which is probably like an M2.5. I think, to get that out. We'll put this where it needs to be, black box, and then rear part's good to go, and then we can start moving to pulling off all that ugly underglow. I knew because this is a Ducati, there was no way that was gonna be a 2mm Allen or a 3mm. It's gonna be that 2.5, which is a goofy size. We got all of this wiring exactly where it needs to be, completely OEM, which I absolutely love to see. The only thing you can see that would be compromised a little bit is just a little tear in this boot right here. For some reason, my camera really doesn't want to focus right now, but it'd just be this little tear right there, but I'm pretty sure, you know, that won't even really be seen once the seat's on it. What we're gonna be getting into now is removing this lower belly pan, and once we get this off, we can start pulling off all of this underglow. So you got two radiators, and then this radiator here, the air goes in right here, and then they got like a duct on the back end of the radiator that pushes the air down to the ground. How badass is that? This thing is really neat. You know, you got the air box with the tank, and then you got that down there. I can't wait to see what else I can find about this that's just engineered, like way over engineered. I got both bottom belly fairings off of it, and I also removed all of this underglow, which I gotta say, for being underglow, it was like really secured on there with a whole bunch of zip ties, and like it was a decently good install. I'm assuming whoever put that on there just really wanted underglow, and you know, didn't really care that it was a Ducati, but he did do a good job with it. So we're just gonna, you know, get rid of this stuff right here. What we're gonna do now is pull off this whole front end, because the stay is broken right here. So what I think I'm gonna do is just try to get off these bolts and then unplug the main wire harness and pull the whole gauge cluster and headlight assembly out. So that front stay gets held on with two 8mm, and then an Allen right here that goes through it. And then I go pull it off, and one of these plugs comes unplugged, but this right here goes all the way to the main harness, and I'm assuming I'm gonna have to take this all apart now in this awkward position to get it so it's not hanging. Oh yeah, we got this thing completely stripped down now, and it's looking like it's all up from here. So we got this whole front end pulled apart, and good news is headlight assembly, none of the tabs are broken on it. All this is good, and I know the lights work, all that's positive. And then gauge cluster, there's no damage on this gauge cluster, and that's really important because that's an expensive gauge cluster. So the only damage I'm seeing here in the front, other than the fairing damage, is this front stay, and I'm missing one of these rubber pieces that go right there. And then obviously, you know, mirrors, which I might do a block off on this, I don't know yet. But yeah, we got that all pulled apart, not too much damage. So now the next thing I'm gonna do is pull this top cap off and the fuel pump module out of this damaged tank, and then put in that new minty one I got over there. Then we're gonna slap her on the bike. One more cool engineering thing. So this fuel pump module, it isn't like all in one like the Japanese bikes are, where this thing pumps fuel, it brings pressure to this part right here, and then that part plugs into this part of the tank, and then it goes up through here, and then you hook your line up on there at the top of the tank, which is pretty cool. Now let's get that module inside of this, and the key assembly, that came out actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to with the way it was kind of wedged in there. artwork. I feel like keeping this tank, because it's so messed up, makes it kind of look cool sitting up there. So we're gonna add some character to the place, because it's a little bland right now. But I got this tank on the bike, and I'm not gonna mount it up completely because I don't know what I'm gonna be doing color-wise, because this tank does need to be color matched. But that's gonna be a wrap for this video. We're gonna be leaving the bike looking like this. And next video that I put out on this, we should be making a lot of headway since we did already most of the breakdown. There's only like one more piece I think I need to pull off, which is gonna be that bar end clip and the brake pedal. Other than that, we're gonna just start building up and start making this thing look pretty badass. But that's it for right now, you guys. I'll catch you Monday with more content. Peace out. Put her in sport mode.